Hey there, sports fans. How are we doing? I'm very well, thanks. Welcome to 10 Yards Back for this, a predictions video, where I'm going to give you my predictions for how the game's going to go and ultimately the scoreline for a couple of the games at the weekend. All right, let's get into some Saturday afternoon rugger at the Brewdog Stadium, the bloody Brewdog. Saints take on the Bradford Bulls, Bullmania. This is a fixture that everyone seems kind of, supportive of in a way. Everyone kind of wants to see this one. It's a retro rivalry. It helps that both teams have kind of done throwback jerseys as well, so it's going to aesthetically look good. But what will the product be? Let's have a look at how both teams are performing generally this season. So they're quite close in the league. All right, they both won, which means they both won 2 from 3, basically. They're both scoring about the same and conceding about the same on average, for whatever that means. Saints are just pipping them on number scored, but the defence is slightly worse. But let's be honest, it doesn't really mean a lot at this point. I don't think so. I think this one comes down to tapping potential for Saints. So if we look at the team sheets, so Saints have got a few key players out. Walmsley went down this week, just in the middle of the week. He's got a foot injury. I don't know what he's been doing. Lomax is still gone. No Wellesby. Percival's on his way, probably to Bradford. It's rumoured Huddersfield, isn't it? But let's be honest, he could go anywhere. He could go to the league, couldn't he? They've still got the numbers there, and they've still got the talent, but it's getting harder and harder now to figure out how to use those players, how to piece them together. Because, Walmsley over the past couple of years has kind of dropped off a little bit, but he's being used really well up to now this season. He's coming off the bench a bit more and having a real impact, which wasn't, normally he's been in the starting 13 and sort of just waited out his first 20 minutes and then come on again at the end, which is a good role. But he seems to be working well on that bench position. They've lost that now. They've lost that impact player in Walmsley. Bradford on the other end, I think, are pretty good. I mean, at this point, the squad list isn't out, so that we don't know actually know who has been selected. But it seems like they do have the luxury of basically being able to play the team from last week, which was absolutely lovely. It looked great. So I think, Saints have lost that real forward drive. I mean, if you look at who they've got in a props, let's just focus on props, right? George Delaney, David Clemmer. I've got George Delaney on air twice. And then after that, really, I mean, will they pick Noah Booth in a game like this? He's not been on the team sheet yet. You've probably you could probably put Siren in at prop for a do maybe, but everybody else, all the other forwards, are kind of out and out second rows or loose, aren't they? So they're really struggling with that. Whereas if you look at I'll just focus on 2 players that Bradford have got, and they play decent minutes, and they're coming off the bench. They can swap off. So Ryan Sutton played a blinder last week, and Uribe Doro came on and just absolutely taught Toulouse a lesson, which I'm glad to see, because I always thought he had potential, but he never quite pulled it off before. It seems to be working really well now. So they've got some. Bradford are connected. Acker's in at dummy R, forcing those fast rucks that we've talked about. The Waka Blake, or Wonga Blake, as it seems to be pronounced now. Isn't that bad? He was at Saints for like 3 years and nobody pronounced it Wonga. Now everybody's pronouncing it Wonga, and all right, whatever. And Eastern Masters, like, they've got the talent and it's connected. it's going to be a hard day in the office for Saints, and this is why I say it's about the potential. I don't want to say that this match needs sort of individual performances, but it certainly needs probably the performance of the season for players like Nene McDonald. Can't just be running off on his own. He needs to be a centre, he needs to be a centre, basically, doesn't he? They're arsing about here, putting him at full back, and then he's dropping into the centres, and then sometimes you find him just on the opponent's try line when you're on your own try line. He's a little bit unreliable. McDonald needs to buck it up and get in position. Murphy really needs a really good game. He's really strong at the minute. Murphy, he's really trying very hard, but he's not quite pulling everything that he tries off. And then the forwards. I mean, I've been really impressed by Shane Wright and Joe Shorrocks. We just need more of that, and for a full 80, I think you need to leave those two on. Yeah, you can swap Host out if you want. You can swap Sirenen out, but I think that the work that Wright and Shorrocks are doing, it really comes down to that sort of middle of the field. Try and draw it into that sort of like 3/4 area, the centres, second row area, and try and leave the props out of it. I would, lads, because you're struggling a bit in that area of the field. That being said, I do think it's a home game. It's a Superleague game. It's a Saturday afternoon in what looks to be sunny St Helens. I think Saints are going to take it. Not by much. Probably, to be honest, if I could redo this number, probably not even by that much, maybe by a try. But it's gonna be hard fought. I think that Saints fans aren't gonna really enjoy this game because it will be a tough defensive battle, punctuated by a couple of tries. That's my prediction for this game. Okay, so that is the end of my predictions video. Let me know what you think of my predictions there. Like, subscribe, do all the stuff, leave a comment. Remember, my predictions were terrible last week, so at least tune in to see how bad they're going to be this week. So anyway, have a good weekend, enjoy the rugby, and I'll see you next week.